All right, everyone. So welcome to today's, our guest speaker today, actually. This is Amy Rempel. She's a best-selling author and also a aromatherapist, a Reiki practitioner, and practices the emotional freedom technique, which I'm also hope we get to learn about today. Amy, why don't you give us a little bit more of an introduction into you, your story, business, all that kind of stuff. I can't wait to learn more.
Yeah, oh, sure. So yes, my name is Amy, and thank you so much for having me today. I really love educating on utilizing natural solutions for our lives, for our bodies, for our homes. And so I'm really excited to talk about this today. And yeah, so I am a certified aromatherapist, and I've been doing it for about 2 years now. And I utilize doTERRA essential oils specifically within my company. And I also am an author. So I just came out with my second co-authored book in the fall called On Her Plate. And it's a beautiful book about utilizing plant-based food to help with women's health issues. So it's very relevant and yeah, super helpful. So yeah, so I've actually been in the business world though for almost 20 years, either running or owning my own company. So I have a lot of experience in that regard also. And I'm opening up an online store as well, which is kind of an umbrella of essential oil things like tools and things like that we can use for essential oils. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. Anything else you wanted to know?
Yeah, I want to know a little bit more of your story, how you got into this kind of stuff, more of a holistic way of living. You know, it's not, this isn't a way that most of us were brought up. So I'd really love knowing how other people are getting there. I think it's really inspirational for me and most of our tribe here. So.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's so true. I was not raised like this. So I think like, oh, I guess a lot of people my age anyway, you know, growing up in the 80s, it was all about Tide and chemical cleaners, and just like, we just didn't seem to question it then. And then, you know, a lot of health issues arose in especially I think in the mid to late 90s, you really see an influx in asthma and allergies and things like that. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about that too. But so our autoimmunity has been really affected. And what really got me towards more of a like natural lifestyle was, so I read, I guess it was an article, this was in 2007, and it was that Johnson & Johnson had phthalates in their baby wash, which I was using at the time. And I read like, what's a phthalate, right? And then read more about it and how it's very disruptive to our hormonal system, especially women with infertility. And I had a daughter and she was 8 months old, right? And I'm using this on her. And I called them. I was so mad. I was like, how can they like legally be allowed to even do this? And so the person told me that they're aware of this and that they will have them removed by 2016. It's like, I'm not waiting like how many years for you to take out a harmful product. So that was the first time I really got my eyes open to what's in our products. So body and hair care stuff, that was kind of the first thing that I really looked at. And then what really made me utilize other holistic, I guess, like modalities and such was in, let's see, when was it? I guess it was probably about the same time frame. I was in karate and I had pulled my groin muscle. Well, I thought I had pulled my groin muscle. And it took me a few years as I noticed it was getting worse that maybe I should go get an x-ray. So I went to an x-ray and sure enough, I actually had moderate hip arthritis. So it turns out that what feels like a groin muscle injury is actually the very beginnings of hip arthritis as well. So FYI. And so I was devastated. I actually found out I have what my dad and my brother have. I just didn't get the symptoms until much later in life, whereas they had this issue as kids as well. So I thought I was in the clear, but after I had my daughter, things changed as that happens. And my doctor was like, my orthopedic surgeon was like, so there's nothing we can do. So you just wait. And then when you need a hip replacement, then we'll do hip replacements. I was like, okay, like that's it. You know, take Advil and Tylenol if you're in pain. And like, that was it. And my aunt, who lives on the West Coast, she said that when she found out, she messaged me right away, do not give up, go see a naturopath. And so that was the first time I went to a doctor that really focused on nutrition. And that was sort of the first time that I was really introduced to natural solutions in a medical sense, and was blown away at how much our foods affect our health and our pain even. So I was on an anti-inflammatory diet. I did have my hips replaced 2 years ago. However, I was able to delay the surgery by about 1.5 years because I wasn't in as much pain as I should have been at that point. So yeah, so that was sort of the beginnings. And I wasn't into a lot of like Reiki was like not even in my scope yet. I started with diet. I felt like I could get my mind around that, which I think that happens with a lot of people. And then it just progressed from there, whether it was massage, acupuncture, I did a lot of, I still do. And then the Reiki came into play more recently, like only about 1.5 years ago, not even 1.5 years ago. So that's a more recent, I guess, finding. But that's also helped with a lot of like emotional well-being for myself and my family as well. And then I've added in the emotional freedom technique as well. So that was also introduced about the same time as Reiki from the same person. So here I am today. So I do have 2 new hips, and I am very thankful for them. It is nice not to have to always worry about being in pain. That's a real weight lifted off my shoulders. So I am thankful for that.
Yeah. So there's a place for Western medicine just as much as there is Eastern. It's just bridging that gap. And I think that's what like healers like you and I and writers and influencers and like all of us that are coming together, we're just here to bridge that gap. So we live in the gray area, I like to say, you know?
Yeah, it's very true. Like I say to people, I'm not against Western medicine. I just don't believe it should be our first go-to. Just for certain things, you don't actually need it. There are other ways that you can do it that are actually going to make you better and healthier in the long run. So it's really about preventative medicine and getting to the root of a problem. That's what we do,
I guess.
Yeah.
And a guide too, right? You know, often you can go to a nutritionist and a naturopath and everything, but they're so busy, just like the doctors are, and they can't guide you through these things. They aren't the ones holding your hand. They're giving you the information, giving you the tests and all that kind of stuff. So it's really nice to see how things are changing and how everything's really connecting and coming together in a really beautiful way.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can start to detox your home and body, and sort of like how I started out. I always, in order to create a non-toxic home, a really great place to start. Now I did start with hair and body only because that was what came up for me. But I would say if you're very new to this, I would start with your cleaners. I think that's a really good place to start. And unfortunately, it's in the home where we're exposed to the most environmental hazards and toxins, which is crazy. But I guess when you think about it, I mean, everything carries something, like fabrics, all of our foods, all of our cleaners, everything we put on our hair and body. And so if we can minimize what we're exposed to in the home, it's going to help us be able to handle what's out in the environment, right? Things that we can't control. So that's what I like about, in the home, you can control what you're exposed to. And, I understand it is hard to be 100% perfect. Like I don't have all organic clothing, for example. But you can still do quite a bit. And so I think the first step would be your household cleaners. I actually did this to a friend of mine. I went to her house and I was just like, I saw like Comet and bleach. And I was like, she's a really good friend of mine, so I wouldn't do this normally, but I threw all of her stuff out and I took it home with me so she couldn't get it out of the garbage. And I left her those like essential oils and recipe to make like a cleaner. And I was like, you don't need it, I promise. And baking soda. Baking soda is the best. It works so, so well. Okay. If you ever need to clean a really dirty sink, or like you can't get that like rust color off, baking soda. It is amazing. It's my go-to. Good for in showers as well. So, and I will give you a very, very easy recipe as well in a little bit. But yeah, so that's what I would encourage you to do, is go in I would say your laundry room and under your sink, wherever your cleaners are, get a garbage bag and just throw them out. And I know that sometimes it's hard because you're like, oh, let me just finish it, and then I'll switch over. And the thing is that I wouldn't do that. I would honestly just get them out of your home, because either way, they're going to be going into our environment. But at least it will minimize your toxic load very quickly by eliminating those from your house. So so I did want to mention like a couple of brands that I use that might be helpful for anyone who's like, well, I don't know where to start or where to look. Actually, if you just go to like grocery stores and you go into like, they have like a health food section, they actually have an aisle with some great brands. Seventh Generation's really good. EcoMax and Nature's Clean. Nature's Clean. I think that's the one. I have that upstairs as my dish soap. I'm pretty sure it's Nature's Clean. And they have really great cleaners and pretty much everything that you need. Now, what I've decided to do, because I work with essential oils, is I make my own, but I make one antibacterial spray that's pretty much for everything. And I do buy a window glass cleaner, just because I haven't seemed to perfect that one. I just find for like streaks, right?
There's a cloth where you use only water, and they're great.
Yes, you're right. There is.
Yeah. I forget what they're called, but I have like two of them. They're they're something clean or dream clean, but I'll find it and post it somewhere.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, that is good. And is that the one that has silver in it as like the cleaner?
I'm not sure. It's just a blue cloth. It doesn't, it must have it or something like that, because it never smells, it never anything. So it must have the silver in it.
It probably does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually a great little tip.
Seen before. Yeah, and I'll find out the name and post it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. There's also a company called Norwex. That's actually where I've gotten some of mine. So I use their mop. It's amazing. So it has the silver in it. So it's antibacterial naturally. So just so you know, that silver is antibacterial. And I just like go to the sink, get hot water, wring it out. It's like a Velcro. It like sticks to the mop. And I just use that, and it works really well too. It actually cleans very nicely. And then they also have those cloths too. So I need to get one.
Yeah, I have heard of Norwex, but I haven't used their products myself.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, I've had really great success with those too, actually. Yeah, those have been really good. Wow. So the antibacterial recipe that I use, I'll share with you, because it's like, I am not a DIYer, so this is like super easy for anybody. So you would get so what I have is a fairly large, I guess it's a pretty big spray bottle, but you can even use something like, actually I have this here, so I give this to my new clients so they can start using non-toxic products in their homes. And I would say a bottle about this size, sorry, I'm not sure exactly the ounces on this, but it's not very big. I'd say about 10 drops of essential oil in here. So a really good antibacterial essential oil would either be tea tree oil or like doTERRA carries something called On Guard. That's the one I use because there's actually studies on PubMed about On Guard and the antibacterial properties that it has. So I utilize that one. Now, just a tip, if you are going to buy tea tree oil at a retail store, let's say, it is actually very hard to find pure tea tree oil. Most of it's going to be pre-diluted, so it's not going to be as effective, so you might have to use more. So do your best to find an undiluted tea tree oil, because that's obviously going to be the most effective to actually killing the bacteria, because that's what you want. So how
would we know the difference? Sorry, Amy.
That's okay.
How would we know the difference if it's diluted or not? Because they don't always say that stuff.
That is where the problem lies. So a little background on the essential oil industry, it's not regulated. So you only legally need to have 10% essential oil in a bottle to call it.
30 milliliter bottle, right?
I think it's 30 mil. I'm not sure exactly the size, but most of them are sold in like anywhere from 5, I'd say, to 15 mil bottles. They seem to be. That seems to be the range. I've seen a bit smaller too, like 2.5 mil. But the best thing to do is, like I always tell people, do your research. So yes, as I was saying, it's not a regulated industry. And so that's the problem, is that they don't have to actually label. Some of them do, though. I have seen some oils that will dilute or will list it on the label. The other thing is if the oil says 100% pure oil, then then that means it's diluted. So it's still catchy because it still could say pure essential oil and still be diluted. But definitely if it says pure oil, that means that it's not pure essential oil. So that's like a key there. And doing your research, like if you can call the company and ask, like, how do you test? Where do you source? Like that to me was really important. It's very hard to find. So yeah, so that is a little bit tricky. Definitely. So, I mean, that's why I partnered up with a company that I know I can get all the information very easily from. So I do recommend that if you know someone who is with a company like doTERRA, like I highly, highly recommend connecting with them if you really want to use essential oils as a part of your life, or even just for your cleaners. It's very good. So yeah, so what I would do is I would do about, in this size of a bottle, I would do about 10 drops of the essential oil, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and then you just fill it up with water and shake. That's it. Now you can add a drop of castile soap, and the castile soap in any cleaner you make or whatever is actually going to pre-mix the oil together, so you don't have to shake it. That's all. So you don't have to have it. If you don't, it won't make a difference.
And all castile soap really is anyway is Dr. Broner just put a bunch of different essential oils kind of together to make a all-purpose soap that can be used for anything.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's another great
high
brand.
Concentrated. That's why you use a drop.
Oh my gosh, it's so great. Like I think I've had mine for months. Like it lasts you forever. So that's another really great reliable brand as well. Dr. Bronner. Yeah.
And they support so many great causes. They're involved in so many great causes. They donate money. They're just an amazing company.
Yeah, that's awesome.
doTERRA also has like a really good reputation as well. So while I'm giving like shout outs.
Yes, very giving. They give back all the time on top of everything else that they do. Yeah. There are definitely some really great companies that, even though they are big, I love that some of them have really kept to their mission and their values. And that's really important to me. So that's how I run my companies. So that's, so that was a good partnership for sure. And yes, and I use Dr. Bronner, so we're good. So let's see. Okay. So once you get your cleaners sorted, the other thing I wanted to mention also is in your laundry room, you would also want to watch for the like the fabric softeners, and obviously like the type of laundry detergent that you're using. A big culprit in these cleaners and detergents is synthetic fragrance. Oh my gosh, I'm actually very allergic to them. I will have a full-blown asthma attack if I'm exposed too long to synthetic fragrance, especially something like Tide, because I've experienced that. But the problem is that, and again, this is where the phthalates were a problem. Phthalates is a chemical that binds scent to your skin. So if you have something on that's like, oh, it's 100% pure, and it sticks to you for more than I'd say more than 2 or 3 hours, most likely there's phthalates in there, or it's a synthetic fragrance. So for example, if you put on a pure essential oil, it should not be on you still after 2 hours, unless it's diluted. If it's diluted, then it might stick longer. So just a little FYI. So the laundry. So you can easily, believe it or not, I've done this, as I've just used some vinegar as my detergent when I've ran out, and it totally works. There's no smell. It doesn't smell like vinegar, so that is extremely inexpensive. But there's actually Costco has been getting better with having like some natural brands. Like I think they have a Nature's Clean and an Eco Max laundry detergent now. So that was good to see, right? They're kind of getting more on board with that stuff, which is nice. But again, the same aisles where you'd find cleaners, you would find the detergents as well. And then another option for fabric softeners. Oh, I should have brought one in here with me to show you. But there's actually these, what are they called? The laundry balls. You know, like the fluffy. I don't even know what they're called.
It's like a static ball type.
Yes, yeah, a static ball. That's it. Yes. So I like totally lost the name of that. Yeah, those are excellent.
You can do just tinfoil too. It's not exactly eco-friendly, but it does work.
Which, sorry?
A tinfoil. You just take a ball up tinfoil. It's
That's
like
right.
DIY, cheap if you already have the stuff on you, but I wouldn't recommend going out and buying it and contributing. It's not the most eco-friendly option, and it's not exactly food safe either. And a good alternative that I found too for the laundry soap, if you don't want to go like any of the soapy ways and you want to stick like with something that is plant-based and everything, is soap nuts. It's literally just hauled off of a tree, and you can use them over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. I don't know about this. This is new.
Yeah, they're really cool. You can use them for like even your face, everything, but they foam up in warm water. So you can't do it with like a cold wash, but a warm wash, if you're not worried about that on your bill or whatever, then it's a good option. And yeah, they're just called soap nuts. You can get them from online on Amazon sells them, but I just got them from OM Foods that I recommend quite often. They sell them now. I got them just from a local store in my hometown, Essential Advocates Essentials or something like that. There's a couple people from my hometown on here. That's the only reason why I'm saying the name, but I can't even remember it. It's Amanda's business anyway.
So it's soap nuts?
Soap nuts, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm totally going to look for that. That's amazing. What a great option.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And then you could just add a little, so you put them in a mesh bag and you drop essential oils, whatever fragrance you want on top of them or on the bag. And
right. Oh yeah, that's great. That's same with the laundry balls, the static balls, fabric, like the ones that are made of wool. You can add, sometimes I add a couple drops of lavender on there, and then your clothes smell a little bit nice. But it's funny, they don't necessarily stay smelling nice like that. But I've noticed, like, even like there's no scent on my clothes. Like it doesn't smell like like it really, on the detergents I've used and with the static balls, there's nothing, like, which is great for me. So it's really good if you're sensitive to scents, especially. Okay, so I would say the next step to detoxing your home would be now looking at like what you're using for your body and your hair, and if you have kids, when you're what you're using on your children as well. So some of the things you want to look for would be free of synthetic fragrances, phthalates, anything that says artificial. So it's like free of artificial whatever, or usually it's coloring, I would think, in those type of products. Mineral oil. If you see anything with like mineral oil or petrolatum, is also mineral oil. It's just another word. I should have wrote these down. I knew I was going to forget some. Ashley, maybe you can help me out because I'm trying to remember. I know there's a couple more. Is it EDTA? That might be one.
Sulfites, if you haven't said it yet.
That was the other one. Yeah, yes, that was the other one. That's a big one too.
Sometimes they put formaldehyde and things like that in too, and it's to preserve it, but it's like the craziest thing. Like, we're not dead yet. I don't even know if I'd use that if I was going under the ground. Like, no, thank you.
That's right, yeah, formaldehyde. Yeah, they do. You're right. Yeah. So just keeping an eye out for things like that. And phthalates are also like they're a big contributor, like I was saying, to our hormonal system, which will also can trigger breast cancer cells. So there have been studies done where 99% of breast cancer cells were found to have phthalates within them. So it really is a carcinogen, and so that's a huge thing in my house. I make sure we do not have any phthalates in any of our products. And so, yeah, again, like there are a lot of options. I really like health food stores have them. I would still read them. Sometimes things get snuck in under the radar. And yeah, I would definitely look for, I'm trying to think of what brands. Like I use doTERRA brands really. So I don't shop as much in that section. But again, like you can even, what I find about health food stores especially is that they have really educated people who work there. So some of them are even nutritionists. So definitely speak to them and they can help you out when you're, just starting out and trying to figure out what might work best for you, especially skincare, because we're all so different. Yeah, so I would definitely check that.
We actually had a nutritionist on last week, and she owns a health food store, so that's what she does as well. But she doesn't offer the makeup and things like that in her store. Instead, she's partnered with Arbonne, because that's who aligns her company, and they offer like tons of different things that align with her and her mission as well. So
yeah,
that option is available to you, and you guys can go back and find the episode from last week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. So why do we do this? So why would we detox our home? So this is to help us live a better, healthier life. It actually will help with your energy levels because your body isn't going to be so focused on overworking all the other organs within your body, especially the liver, right? The liver is where we filter so much, and our kidneys as well. But it really is, the main job of it is to filter the blood coming from the digestive tract, before it gets into the rest of our body. And it also helps metabolize any drugs. And that's why, like they say, like acetaminophen, so Tylenol, is really harsh on our liver because it just, I don't know exactly why. Like, whereas like Advil's not as harsh, but for some reason, Ashley, I'm not sure if you know this more from a nutrition standpoint, but acetaminophen is the hardest on our liver.
Yeah, I do have notes on this kind of stuff, and I know that I've posted like certain facts about this stuff in the past, but I don't have it off the top of my mind.
Okay. Yeah. I know we don't know everything.
Yeah, no,
like
it's not our.
Yeah. I've got my notes right in front of me, guys. Like I cannot remember every detail anymore. But we're just here to really like help arm you with information and make it just really simplified too, right? And that's how I started. So it's really good. But the liver is also directly impacts our immune system. So again, it's kind of the same thing. When it's really overworked, you're just going to be more susceptible to getting infections and to being sick. So when it can't efficiently handle that toxic load, then that's when all of the bad stuff is going to happen, right? So we want to make sure that we can keep our liver, especially, is a very important organ to keep healthy. So by reducing our toxic load in these ways, that's going to help you a lot. And you would probably even notice an increase in energy, for example, or even like health. Like, so not maybe if you get sick a lot, for example, maybe this is the portion that's missing in your life to help you get healthier. So it also helps with autoimmune issues. So that's how we end up, like I never had allergies, and then I turned 18 years old and all of a sudden I had hay fever. It's like, what? But it was all those years being exposed to all of those chemical cleaners in my home, right? And it's not my parents' fault. Like I don't blame them. They really didn't know any better. but that I believe that that's what happened. That my autoimmune system was just getting beat down, and it just kind of gave up. And then I got all of these allergies. I've gotten rid of those allergies after 19 years. I'm so excited. I don't have them anymore from just some really amazing supplements and just, getting it stronger, right? So I actually wrote down a little bit about some foods that can help with liver support. Again, I'm sure Ashley probably knows more than me, but but I thought I would add them in. And if you want to add anything, please do, Ashley. But so I actually didn't know this, but coffee and tea, is that correct?
For liver,
To help
I
with liver
don't.
support.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, please share with. I think that like they both do have benefits, but there's like a happy medium of what body, like not everybody's the same. Maybe it will help your body, maybe it will be poison for your body. And it also depends on how much. There has to be a portion control system. Like
Right, of course. Yeah, because too much coffee is not good for you. So
yeah, but
got
it
to be
is a
careful with the
stimulant,
caffeine.
and there are benefits. And there was
Yeah,
ceremony before it got taken over, like everything else. Tobacco was a ceremony at one point in time too, you
right.
know.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
chocolate as
Interesting.
well, and now it's on every counter and full of
Full
like
of crap.
yeah.
That's very true.
You forget how much of
So,
a medicine it really is sometimes.
right. Yeah. So, okay. Well, some of the other foods that I think are more aligned with what you teach, Ashley, would be like grapefruit, blueberries, cranberries, grapes, and then certain types of vegetables like the arugula, broccoli, bok choy, cabbage, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. So that's what I found. So the other thing you can do to help your liver is you can actually do like castor oil packs. I've never done one before because castor oil, I just don't like it. I had, anyways, that's another story, but I can't smell it or anything. I get really nauseous. but if you look it up, I'm sure you can find how to do a castor oil pack. But that was something that was actually recommended to me. So I just wanted to pass that information on. And then the other, so what I do for my liver support, because I can't do that, I besides obviously having like a lot of toxins reduced in my home, I decided to take the same idea of the castor oil pack and apply it to an oil that I use. It's actually called Zendocrine. And so this is it's a blend, and I take it internally, which you can with doTERRA oils because of the type of testing that we do. And then you can also rub it directly onto your liver. I would dilute it. I would dilute it because it will stick and stay to your skin longer. So that's the purpose of diluting an oil when it is pure and when you're going to put it on you. The other one I use lemon oil in my water. So when I'm like, maybe had too much to drink or I'm just like going through a bit of a detox process, in the morning, I will put like 5 drops of essential oil in my water bottle and drink that. So lemon oil is really good for your liver and your kidneys. It actually can help also disintegrate kidney stones, in fact. So the other really great thing about it and why I stopped using like real lemons was because there's no acidity. It's actually from the rind of the lemon instead of the inside. So you're protecting your enamel and you're also keeping a more alkaline state within your body. So yeah, so those are a couple of my little things that I do. And I actually was looking at that list of foods and I eat a lot of those. So I'm like, yes, I'm on the right track. So yeah. Yeah, but I don't know, I think that might be it for me. I don't know if you have any other questions, Ashley, or anything else that I missed that you'd want your viewers to know.
No, I think we're pretty good, and I think we've done good for time here too. Last thing to, I guess, close off, or 2 things actually. What is your favorite spring cleaning ritual? And this can be body, mind, or spirit, however, whatever you want to talk about. And then, of course, let everybody know how they can find you.
Oh, sure. Okay. Okay, spring cleaning ritual, I have to say, is actually tactile, like literally cleaning stuff out, like getting rid of clutter. It happens every year. I just that's what I do. That's what I go to. But I really find it actually helps clear my mind. It physically and mentally makes more space in my life. So I highly recommend it. And yeah, if you want to start following me on Instagram, I'm at rempel.amy on Instagram, and my email address, if you have any other questions or you want some more information on anything, is rempel.amy@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amy. It was
Oh, you're
great
welcome.
having you here and learning from you today. And
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to connecting again soon.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love that.
Bye, love.
Bye.